Well, let's go ahead and get started, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, let's roll.
Yeah. So you guys, my name is Tim Hart, VanDyk Mortgage branch manager right here in Fort Myers, Florida. Do mortgages here. I've been doing them since 2001. Got a cool chance to do a few videos already with my boy Remington Begg from Impulse Creative right here in Fort Myers as well. Remington, big source of my business is Realtors. And that's what we've been talking about, man. We did one earlier about internet presence, growing it, social media marketing for realtors. And today we're going to be covering video marketing. So fill everyone in out there that's going to be watching this live. And then, of course, down the road when it plays again. So who is Remington Begg and Impulse Creative? Fill them in, man.
Sure. So Remington Begg with Impulse Creative, as Tim said, I own or co-own Impulse Creative. We are a digital marketing and growth agency, and essentially what we try to help people do is leverage their strategies online to essentially figure out ways to get more business, make sure that they have a consistent brand, and ultimately are able to grow their business. So everything from building out your website to helping you with video, all the way through to helping you with social media, blogging, and whatever it takes in order to get more people and more eyeballs on you as a business.
Right. And when we covered a lot of those topics in the first two videos, so when we're done, I'll put those in the comment section so people can have them as well. So Remington.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to get started on first?
Let's roll. We got a lot of content. I think.
All right. Yeah, you do. And then I know, man, so doing two with you already, I got to kind of keep you in check once in a while. You'll start jamming. So we got to honor this time. All right, buddy. So first, let's get into realtors and why they should do video marketing.
Yeah. So when we talk about why video marketing, at a higher level, before we even dig into realtors specifically, is, especially live video, it's super authentic. You don't have that opportunity to make mistakes, and you just kind of got to roll with it, just like a normal human conversation. But video has a unique way of bringing across that authenticity that written or images don't really do. People want to know who the real you is. They want to know you today rather than a yearbook photo of you, 30 years ago. And it's just a very easy way to relate to someone. So I know a lot of real estate agents that have out of town customers and people who may not have ever met them. The transaction is 100% on the phone. And when we're talking about real estate, especially in Southwest Florida, we're talking about trying to be differentiated, right? And so a lot of times people go down a certain niche, but video allows for you to differentiate and just let people meet you and know who you are and what you do and why you do it. And so that's a real big premise behind, why video is so effective.
Can I also jump in there real quick on something? So, all of our businesses are ultra competitive. Yep. I mean, massively competitive. Yours, mine, realtors, so I talk to realtors a lot. I just say, your business is competitive. You got to find a way to be different. Same with me. You got to find a way to be able to break away from the norm or what everyone else is doing. And so that kind of plays into what you're already teeing up right here. So keep on jamming, buddy.
Yeah. So, so make sure that you've got to show your face. You got to be just like we are here. We're just humans. You get good lighting. We'll get into more of that later. But just in general, you got to make sure that you're out there because your competitor is going to, especially as it gets so much easier on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to jump right into where to actually put these videos. So when we're thinking about video, there's a lot of different platforms. There's, you've got Facebook, we've got Facebook Live like this, and we can get a little bit more, it gets a little bit more complicated when you've got more than one viewer. But then we also have YouTube, and, you want video on your website, and also even Instagram, which we can get into in a little bit. In 1 second. Sorry, reception goes down if the door closes and someone was being nice and closing the door. So when we're looking at where to put these videos, the answer really is everywhere. And so this same video can be used in a lot of different places. Like this video, for instance, once it's done, we'll take the download that's already on Facebook and we'll drop that likely onto your YouTube channel so people can see it on YouTube. And there's different strategies for each. So I'll jump into those real quick. So Facebook and Instagram, and even LinkedIn and Twitter if you're going to do it. But for real estate agents, Facebook and Instagram are really the main social sides of this, are going to be very heavily on connections to people you know. So think more viral, but not necessarily going viral. It's like any connections that you have, their friends would see those interactions. And it allows for people to get introduced to who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And they may have never actually looked for the overall. Sorry, I just realized my audio is different. Does that sound better?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. So they've looked for the opportunity to like see what you do as a service when they're doing search, but they may not necessarily do that. They may get introduced to you because someone else likes you. And this can be a great breeding ground for referrals. And a lot of times people, will overthink social media and not really think about it as a referral engine. So video helps reinforce that.
But Remington, the other thing I've found with video since I've been doing it for a while is you meet people, and same with me when I meet someone that I only know them through video, like you know them, like, I'll meet people and they kind of already know me. They know a lot about my kids or my business, or, hey, you've been fishing, like baseball, like they talk about it, they know me, and I've never met them face to face. And I've experienced with people that I've gotten to know through video or audio. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty powerful how this thing can be.
Yeah. And you think about that. So when you're going back to that differentiation that we discussed, you have that opportunity for people to build a relationship with you. It might be one-sided to start, but then they start engaging and having conversations with you online. And then when you do meet them in real life, it's not like that awkwardness that you have of not knowing them. All of a sudden now, you just hit the ground running and continue to develop that relationship because you have common things, fishing or, real estate or, or ball games. So it could be a lot of different things there. So the two other areas.
Time out. Speaking of awkwardness, Jay Legase just joined in, and
he did.
Throw him a shout out. He's been busting on us for days now. So shout out to you, Jay. I see you over there.
Yeah.
All right, keep going, buddy.
Nice. So as we look at, those are more the social interactions, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. But when we look at YouTube, which is like half social, half an SEO play, search engine optimization, which we talked about a couple episodes back, the YouTube can really increase your effectiveness for people finding your videos. And I don't know if you've done a Google search on your phone recently, but videos are super, super relevant because Google knows people start to utilize those. So having a well-placed video on your YouTube channel can be a really great way to rank more effectively just for that subject. And then, of course, having video on your website is going to be a major play too. So everything I've talked about sounds like a whole lot of work. We start thinking about, oh my God, I have to record a video on Facebook, and then I got to go over and record another video on Instagram, and then I got to go over here and put one on my website and YouTube. But in a lot of cases, the content that we're putting out on one platform can be used on others. And if you think about it, some people, especially your raving fans, might see multiple things of content, but if you keep the branding and the look and the feel of those videos, or at least the subject matter consistent, no one's going to be upset because they saw that same video on another platform. So don't be afraid to post that same video everywhere so that everyone knows what's going on. And that was actually a question from the last episode we did from Robin Witt. So Robin, that's your answer on all videos. No, that was just part of my agenda and it just tied in. So I'm gonna bring it back to those questions. But
Robin's here. I see her.
Yeah. Woo. All right.
I got your question, Robin. I got it right here for you.
So we'll get deeper into that a little bit later, but the answer is everywhere. But you don't have to be doing a different video each time. You could easily be downloading. So the final one of where to place your video is video podcasts. And a lot of times people either get super freaked out about podcasts in general because it sounds like a lot of work or it's ultra complex, but it's no different than doing a video like we're doing right now. And video podcasts are a really great opportunity to continue to take that video further. And so there's certain platforms. One of them is 23. And if you'd like me to show you about it, just hit me up after this call. But 23 is a video platform that allows for you to do everything we've talked about and kind of route all of those videos where they need to go. And while it is a little bit of an investment, it saves a heck of a lot of time if you're going to go into video. So that's where to place your videos on social, like Facebook Live and Instagram. And live videos are really great. You're going to see a lot of opportunity for some pretty incredible reach. And then, of course, you've got your website, YouTube, and really anywhere else where your people are hanging out. So that's where to place videos. I will work on that, Tim. See what else I can shut down.
Well, what you said, what you guys do with your podcast, because I have a podcast called the HartBeat Show Podcast. You have your podcast. Plug it real quick here.
Good. Oh, my podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have Wayfinding Growth, which is a growth-based function. We talk a lot. There's actually quite a few video topics on there. And we talk about everything in regards to how to think about things, how to get people out of your way, and how to start thinking in order to get action to help you grow your company. I think we're on episode 21 right now. And that's a weekly. And then we have 2 daily podcasts. I have a conversational marketing podcast, which is a whole nother episode. And then I have a Sprocket Talk podcast that we do for HubSpot users. And George B. Thomas on my team handles that. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So video podcasts, super effective. And it actually surprised me. We focus so much on social and video and stuff like that, it's very much easy to measure. And then you don't realize how much engagement you get from podcasts because, Facebook and, and Instagram, they change what shows up in the feed that serves them, where podcasts are really focused strictly on notifying a user when a new episode is available. So there's they don't drill down any content. So it can be a really great gateway drug to getting people to connect with you and follow.
Yeah. I have a question for you when it comes to editing. So a lot of times we do these type of videos, live or not, whatever. And I find that it's almost like the less editing we do, the better. Like it's you flub up something, just keep going, man. Like I find that is that the way to do it? Where unless you're like, drop an F-bomb or say something you shouldn't.
Sure.
Do you just let it go?
Yeah. So I think that there's a couple different areas there, but for the most part, the only editing that I'm doing so we do daily videos. We're putting out as a agency for ourselves about 80 videos a month. And so they're small, right? They're like 5 to 7 minutes, but they're all packed with a lot of value. And I'm gonna get into what to do videos about here in a minute. But those smaller videos, we want to keep the production time as small as possible. And so doing them as if we're doing them live is really important. And so when you're thinking about that, like we look at no more than 15 minutes production time on each video so that we can pump them out the way that we do. But yeah, if you're Gary V, you can drop F-bombs on video. It depends on your brand. But when you're thinking about, how it would normally be when you're on video and someone watches it, as long as you have good audio and you have some crisp video, which most phones will handle, then, people are going to be pretty open to if you trip up on your words or you open a door because it needs to be open. Like
someone fessed up to that already over here. Audrey DeMartini. She already confessed to doing it. She apologized.
No, it's totally fine. Audrey's just looking.
You're getting written up, Audrey. You're getting written up.
All right. So we talked about where to place the videos, but now let's talk about specifically for real estate agents what we want to do videos about. And so when we're talking about videos, the number one thing that I see real estate agents do is they do these realtor open houses, right? And so they come in and they show the house, they talk about how much it is, and a lot of times they're using a selfie stick and it's like almost looking at the top of their head because they're trying to get as much view out of the room as possible. And they talk about features. They don't talk about lifestyle. And so that's one of the big areas where I think that they can really focus on is if we're talking about the house, don't don't show an empty house and kind of walk around it because it can be ultra promotional, but go in and start talking about why this house, like the details about the house. Talk about the neighborhood. Start your virtual tour of the home outside. Show the elevation, have your face in it and be looking behind, because sometimes with phones, if the camera is facing away from you, the microphone is actually on that side. So it's going to mess up your audio. And so as you're going through, just make sure that you're talking about the features, just like you would a person who is actually walking through and asking questions about the house. Don't treat video like you have to jam pack a whole bunch of information in it. And then going towards more of this micro content strategy. So if you talk about reasons why someone likes a particular type of home, or you're doing a feature for an open house, that listing as you're going through it could be a great way of sharing information on social. But think about taking that virtual tour. Imagine if you did a video tour of the house, and instead of it just being a video tour, it actually had you as a human talking about that house. And that was what you submitted in the MLS for your listing. Right. Suddenly now we're not just showing crazy music that goes through and looks like everybody else's virtual tour. Now you're doing personal brand stuff. And that's a huge way of leveraging that video. All right. It's a little bit of a tangent.
So, but the summary of that would be, you would like to see them talk more about the neighborhood and the lifestyle, and not so much that it's a 3-2 with a pool.
Yeah. Like, that's great. It's a 3-2 with a pool. I, as a buyer, would be looking at that going, that's awesome. It's an empty house. It looks like it has tile. Okay. It's got dark cabinets, but like, talk to me about why that house is a good solution, just like you would as if you were driving up, to the house. Okay. And it doesn't have to be like crazy production. You just have to start, imagine you're talking to that real human, I think is where I'm going there. So that's the more like listing walkthroughs. The next thing you have is this community reviews. So if as an agent, you're on your way to do an open house, why not stop at the things that are really compelling about that area, right? So if you come in, if you're coming into and driving towards one of these open houses and there's a park down the street, why not start your video and start recording a couple of things, talking about the amenities of the community, and then go inside and show the house. And then when you're done, put that together on your phone. And now you've got not only a review of the house, but you've got the review of the surrounding areas that really make it worth it. Right. So think about the community reviews as well. You could go in and, for instance, showcase Sandoval as a community and why people would even want to be in Sandoval. And those are the types of questions, depending on who you're interacting with, that people would have questions about. So if you're thinking about those subjects, I'm sure that every agent that's on this live or listens to this video has received a question or two from prospects, and it's been the same question over and over again. So if you hear that question twice, I implore you to do a video on it so that people, because I guarantee they Googled it before they asked you. And if you have that information out there and it's a picture of you sharing some knowledge, it's going to be easier for them to trust you before they actually call you.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's something that I've always meant to do. It's one of those things I'm like, man, I should do this. I don't know why I do it. But like when someone asks a question and, you either respond back, usually written, because it's an email a lot of times, or maybe it's face to face and you give it to them over the phone or verbally. And it's like, if they're asking that and I already typed up all the words for it, like, why wouldn't I turn that into a blog post or, slap a video behind it? Because, realtors, us, you, we all get questions all the time. Yeah, it's fine. All the time. And so it's just way easier just to flip that into content, put it out there, and then you have a 24/7 commercial or information 100%. For people,
Yep. And, a lot of times you start freaking out about like, oh, I've got to produce it. Make it really easy to do those videos. Like the setup that I have here, I've got 2 lights. I think you have a similar setup, right? But I've got a backdrop. This backdrop is actually fabric. It's not a fence like from Nantucket. But you can get those, and it's something that makes it really easy for you to just do a quick video. But don't be afraid to do a selfie video in front of a house or, for the sign of your business. Like, there's no reason why you couldn't do that, because people aren't going to be like, oh, I can't believe that they did that video, with their logo in the background. Like, they're not going to be there. As long as you have something valuable to say, that video is going to work really well. So to your point, you could write about it, which is a good idea, but you could also do a video about it, and you should probably do both.
Yeah, I say you do
Cool.
both, all of them.
Oh yeah. So then we have video testimonials. So nowadays more than ever, I joke, grandparents are more comfortable being on video than they ever have been in the past because of FaceTime, right? And so if you want to get a testimonial from, someone that you just helped them with the largest purchase of, their life, or one of the, right? Why not say, hey, do you mind taking a second and telling us about your experience? And why not do a selfie video like this with your arm around them, saying, hey, talk to me about your experience. Of course, ask them before you go live, right?
Put your arm around them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially nowadays.
You never know.
When you're doing that video and you're doing that kind of an unscripted testimonial, that can be incredibly powerful. And so if they're like, oh, I don't know what to say, just, make it very easy and conversational. Just be like, just talk to people about the experience. What was the first thing that you liked? And so it might take a little bit of grooming to get comfortable with doing that yourself, because you have to be comfortable as an individual when you're asking for that testimonial. But I find a lot of times real estate agents don't ask for a testimonial. They just move on to the next one. They're like hunting, when it could be very easy, like walking out after you sign the paperwork, or like, walking
at the closing table, man, at the closing table where it could happen easy.
100%. I see, like, Tim, you all the time, you'll take a picture being like another happy customer. There's no reason why you couldn't be like, hey, do you want to talk for a second about how awesome this experience was?
But dude, even like without this, if you don't want to do the holdout selfie thing, and we have this saying, phone goes in here, you can put it right on top of the table if you wanted to.
100%. Tim, I think you should do a blog about how to have the right content or the right information for or equipment rather. See, there's the mess up on live. The right equipment for a real estate agent video.
Yeah, so, I wish I used it more though. So
yeah, well, just put it in your bag, bring it around with you. Yeah. Cool. So, and then the last one is local knowledge. So this could be super wide. You can go just about anywhere here. So Tim, you've done a great job with videos, and you've taken it to the extreme doing the fishing show. Right. And people relate and like understand that you enjoy fishing, and it's easy to know, like, and trust you because of the conversations, the local people you bring in. So that's taking it to an extreme. But when we're talking about like what's going on, I know, so this is a shout out for Jay again. I said I'd mention him. So Jay has gone out and he's taken pictures taken Facebook live videos and actually shown the quality of the water out around Cape Costa, right? Trolls or not, it doesn't matter. Like, you're showing your local expertise, and people locally are going to appreciate that and want to know the unfiltered truth. So if you're going to share that information, it could be information about the local parks. It could be, check out this brand new, thing that's happened in your community. It could be the new restaurant down the street. You putting out content that's local and that's relevant is only going to help Google's view of you in regards to expertise in the area, as well as people going, wow, this person not only sells real estate in Southwest Florida, but I really trust their opinions on all like what is in the know for the local area. So be open to doing that. If the thought comes across your head that it's a unique selling point, like I've heard a couple agents on social media talking about the fact that there's that there's a new restaurant, or was it World Market on Daniels? Is that World Market? Apparently,
the new one?
Yeah, it's World Market, right?
In the Bell Tower is World Market.
No, that's Fresh Market.
It's Fresh Market. Ada's? I don't know.
No, the one that Amazon owns. Whole Foods? Whole Foods. Wow. See?
Whole Foods.
But anyways, Whole Foods. They've been talking about Whole Foods and all the restaurants and that new plaza and how it doesn't really look very Florida, but at the same time, it's like ultra modern. That kind of thing for people in the area that are looking to build a house, that could be a really big pull for some people, especially if they're coming from an area where they used to have that. So there's a lot of opportunities to really connect the dots and have that information available to people. And again, if it's you talking about it, you're the expert on the space. And if no one else is doing it, you're going to be the one that they find. And that's a huge, huge leg up from your competition. Because the harsh truth is that we're having this talk about video marketing, and less than 10% of the people who are actually watching this are going to do a video, right? They're not going to take action. They're just going to continue doing the normal stuff. So that 10% have the opportunity to really, really, hit the ground running and show their value.
Well, that's something you hear at almost any seminar you go to, no matter what industry. Everyone's fired up, they're jacked up, seminar's over, and they say, I think the number's like 3 or 4%.
It's low. Yeah.
It's really like who will actually take what they just paid for and then turn into actionable items and then execute it.
Yeah, 100%. So Brian Fanzo he has a podcast, and he has a whole talk that is around pushing the damn button, and it's about Facebook Live and everything else. You should definitely check out his podcast, but just push the button, be vulnerable for a second and share some value. And I think that you will be very excited about the results. And the one thing specifically with video is the outcome of that video is to affect one person, right? Set the bar low. And I'm not saying like set it low because you're not going to get a lot of followers, but that video pays for itself if it affects one buyer. And so if you're thinking about that video and you're sharing enough value for that one person, now suddenly that video doesn't sound like the stakes are as high. And what it's doing is you're creating that content without being.
I lost you, man.
And be out there for a long time.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, yeah, there you are. You froze up.
Did the audio catch up?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So
did Audrey open the door again, bro?
No, she's over there. But I think she's listening to you. She's probably gonna start chatting. But there is another video session going on.
Captain John Conway's on here. What's up, Conway? Sorry.
There it is. So when you're looking at those videos, the objective, in my opinion, when you get started, is to affect one person. And so if you can affect one person with that video and they turn into a client, think about how much value that video has for you. Right. So don't worry if you didn't get thousands of views on it, because if you affected 1 or 2 people and it turned them into someone who trusts you more in the sales process, then, that's worth it. That'll pay itself off in dividends for you.
Absolutely. And Remington, the other thing I've seen, and I still experience it all the time, is the repetition of it. The consistency of putting out the content. And, there's a lot of times I put things out and I get 0 feedback, and it could go a month, 2 months, but it takes a while to be able to gauge what's working and what's not. You can't post 2 times and be like, oh, that sucked. That idea didn't work. And then you quit. Man, it's a consistent daily, weekly, monthly thing. And you got to keep hammering it.
Yeah, I did 46 videos before I got direct ROI from one of the videos. And what I mean by direct ROI was a job that was about $16,000 because of it. Like, I saw this video and it was exactly what I wanted. And if I had stopped that video 8 in or 10 in or even 30 in, I never would, there's potential I never would have seen that ROI. And now when you look at the value per video, it's huge. So you just got to keep that consistency and keep that stuff going. The final piece there is when you were talking about what to do video about, a lot of times, especially as locals, we don't see the things that would matter to people outside of our area, right? Palm trees. We wouldn't think twice about passing a palm tree on the street, but people up north may see that as being vacation. And so if you're talking about something, it can be super simple and it would be something that you may think is inconsequential, yet it could have a dramatic impact for your buyers. And I'll give you an example. We have one video that we did on how to log into a software that we use, how to log in. And that video is like one of the most popular videos of all of them that we've done. And we get referrals from that, even though like it's not really advanced, so don't like think you've got to be, you've got to go deeper or you've got to like over expand on subject matter. Just talk authentically and you'll start seeing results.
But the other thing I like about realtors and what they've got to do, and it's always been an appeal to me, is the people that when they're walking houses all day or showing, or maybe they have a new listing or whatever, video or take photos of these unique things inside these houses, whether they're really cool, awesome, completely dated, like, Brady Bunch style 60s house, the hoarder house, anything they see that's really unique, because that stuff plays, man. That's what, I've always thought that real estate has an edge when it comes to social, because
100%.
people love real estate, and the same with food. I feel like those two, and the captains, quite honestly, Conway's on here, but any of these fishing captains, people enjoy the fishing outdoors, that type of lifestyle as well.
Yeah, 100%. And, so those things that we think are inconsequential could be one of those reasons why someone would trust you to buy from you. Right. And so, sharing the details, like you share selfies all the time and photos all the time with your kids at like the ball game, like that could be a unique selling point for a family who has kids about where the nearest ball, where the nearest ball field is. So you could have a lot of different things. And there really is so much subject matter you could go after, but focus on being relevant, helpful, and happy, right? You can't be like, oh, what's everybody? I'm here and I'm doing another live because I have
again.
To. Yeah. Like
Remington said, I got to post once a day.
Yeah. You got to be inspiring. You just got to be upbeat and be how you would expect your customers to expect you in real life would be, whether that's good, bad, or ugly. All right.
You want to get into the equipment?
Let's do equipment. So
Rebecca Graves is on here just hammering questions and comments. She's doing great, man.
Yeah, I already got a handful of her already in our lineup, but I can't wait to get into some.
She's got a lot over here.
So, sweet. So equipment. A lot of times when I talk to people about getting started with video, there's excuses, and we'll use excuses as a blanket term. It could be, I don't have time. It could be a lot of those things, but a lot of times it comes down to equipment. Every single realtor that I know has one of these, right? And this is a major opportunity to drive results and show people video. And the camera on phones nowadays, someone's calling me. The camera on phones nowadays are so incredible. You can get 4K. It could be super sharp, and you can even go and get for $50. You can get a wide angle lens to go after, real estate a little bit better. But when you're thinking about what kind of equipment you need, the phone in a lot of cases, especially when you're getting started, is going to be enough. But what you have to do is you have to make sure you have good audio. So if you're going to start doing this, get a lapel mic. And a lot of times you can get them for like $20 on Amazon, and you can plug them into your phone. And if you have that lapel mic with the microphone here, it's going to make it so that you don't get that super echoey sound when you're doing the tours.
Yeah, I got to write that down.
Yeah. And then the other option is I've got this one here. But you could have, more like an interview, like news type microphone if you wanted to. And those microphones,
the blue Yeti.
Yeah. And then I've got the ATR 2100, which I think is like $60, but you could have those types of microphones and that type of audio help where the difference between them is night and day. And if people will tolerate bad video, but people will not tolerate bad audio. So if it sounds like you're in an echo chamber and if it sounds like you're in an empty house when you're recording the video because you have your phone on a selfie stick and it's 3 feet, 4 feet away from you, you're going to hear the reverberation on the walls as you're talking to your phone more than you're going to hear your actual voice. And so you just got to make sure audio is good. So if you don't listen to anything else I said today, other than getting out and publishing a video, go buy a lapel mic or some good audio because it's going to make the world of difference.
Audio is important. Gotcha.
Yes. So then we have lighting. So you can get these ring lights that are about this big that stick over the top of your phone so that it lights up your face real well.
I think Rebecca had mentioned something on here that she bought some kind of phone. Let me go back to it. That it was like it has a lighting port on it.
Yeah. So, you can buy a lot of these things, and we can hunt down and find a couple links after this, but I've got a blog post that is focused around, the types of equipment for a video room. So if you're doing something like this, but we can, happy to continue the conversation around that if we need. And then finally, a smooth shot. So if you're doing the walkthroughs on a house and it's shaking the camera up and down as you walk, there's two things you can do. One is go toe to heel to toe when you're walking. And that's going to force you to walk slowly and smoothly. And so it'll keep the camera, very, very smooth rather than you moving around, and anchor your elbows to your chest. So when you're walking around, you can walk really smoothly. And now all of a sudden, like a T-Rex.
Like a T-Rex?
Like a T-Rex, right?
Right.
If you're walking forward, if you are using a selfie stick, realize that a selfie stick, a little bit of movement right here is going to be grossly exaggerated on the end of the selfie stick. And so when you're talking about taking that smooth shot, you can also use a tool like a DJI Osmo, which is a gimbal that would, you can essentially trip and everyone would think you're just floating in midair. The Osmo, you can get it like Best Buy or on Amazon or from DJI.com. And I want to say it's like $200 and you can plug your phone right into it. It's a great resource, especially if you're doing walkthroughs and, and that kind of information.
Right. And
then if you have a DSLR, like a professional class camera, I think the Canon SL2 is a pretty affordable one. If it records 1080p, you don't need 4K, especially for like web-based videos. Just pay attention that your DSLR doesn't have like a 10-minute cutoff on video, because a lot of the cheaper DSLRs will shut off because of heat for prolonged recordings. And while you can fit a lot of content into 10 minutes, you don't want to be racing to get your content in before that 10 minutes is up. So if you're looking at a DSLR, you can do it, but the phones are super accessible and no one's going to fault you for using them.
Okay, cool. You care to get into some questions?
Let's do it.
All right. I got, can I hit you with the two I had?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first was Robin Witt. We mentioned her earlier, Remax Realty team. She had asked me, or probably you, where is the best place to share videos, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube? And don't you dare say all three, Remington.
So all three, and you could even take those YouTube videos and share them on Pinterest as well, because that ties into the social session that we talked about. And Robin Witt is a winner, so I will message her what she won, because she acknowledged that last video. But when and congrats, woo!
All right.
But when we're thinking about where to put those videos, it's more so of how can people discover them. And the website's super important. And so you can use the YouTube to embed that on your website. Or as I said, you could use a tool like 23, but sometimes for smaller businesses, 23 might be out of budget. But YouTube, sharing them on YouTube is great. Putting them on your website and like that blog post we talked about, if you get those frequently asked questions, having the written answers and then the actual video answers are going to be a great place to put it. And, and building out videos for everything you do. So if you talk to people and you've got a process, explain the process just like you would in real life. Those videos, like there should be a human element of you anywhere that your brand is, in my opinion.
Okay. So, but also with any of these platforms, it's kind of like, what are you trying to target? Like, is it long form video, short, like different things? I think that plays into where you post. Where's your audience at? Who are you trying to get?
So that's a good question there that I'm pulling out of that statement. How long should the video be is not something that I said. It should be as long as it should be. Right. Like to get that thought through. So keep brevity in mind, but at the same time, don't be afraid for it to be a 2-minute video. And I wouldn't be afraid of it being a 20-minute video as long as there's value throughout, because you'll get an idea of how far through people get.
All right. Also a question, Deb Cullen from Remax Realty team. Remax is lighting these questions up. She had asked, she was looking for some advice on Google My Business, just how to basically take advantage of all the Google platforms like Google Plus, Google. I don't think anyone uses Google Plus, right?
Yeah.
And she's mentioning Google Plus, so that's why I said that.
Yeah. So Google Plus right now is a quasi social network because I don't think people are really there, but Google does pick that up in searches sometimes. So if you're posting those videos to YouTube and sharing it in Google Plus, that's really going to help. And I believe also that in the Google business listings, you can also link to videos as well. And of course, upload images. So that can all be really good. What I would do with the business listings is share more what it's like to work with you, testimonial type videos, and not so much like specific area information. Keep it very much focused around the experience of what it is like to work with you and how you help your customers.
Gotcha. Okay. I see Rochelle Yeoman's on there too from Douglas Brook Homes. What's up, Rochelle? How you doing? Okay. So then Remington, we got a couple questions already been sent in from Rebecca Graves too. You had a few of those you wanted to answer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Rebecca's
Thanks
first
for the
question.
questions, Rebecca.
Yes, thank you for getting those to us ahead of time. So what's a good way to re-engage old leads inside your CRM that are over 6-month mark and of having received an email from us using video? So that's a great question. So we're talking more like one-on-one style videos that you could go rather than more of that blanket. So we're really big fans of using a tool called Soapbox by Wistia, and it's a free tool that you can download and allows for you to copy and paste the embed code of that video right into the email. And what Soapbox allows for you to do is have a one-on-one conversation. So let's say that I haven't heard from Tim in 6 months and I want to reconnect. I can record a quick video, say, hey, Tim, it's been a long time. I know you're crazy busy, but I'd love to reconnect with you to see whether you're interested in building your home, right? And you can add a little bit more in there. Basically, everything you'd write in that email, just do it as a video, and it's gonna be super authentic. And you can send that with Soapbox via Wistia in your email platform, and it's a one-on-one engagement. In a lot of cases,
it'll play inside their email like BombBomb. I know BombBomb is one that's really popular.
Yeah, similar to BombBomb. Whether it plays inside the email or not depends on what email tool they use. But in one way, shape, or form, it'll either open that one-on-one email or it'll be direct. The other tool is Go Video by Vidyard, and it's a very similar experience. But that's more of the one-on-one. If you're trying to engage with people after a certain amount of time, you've got to think about the reasons why they were in your list in the first place. And, I'm super against emailing people unsolicitedly. So if those people were engaged at one time and then they weren't, a lot of times it can be, 6 months is an interesting timeline. In some cases, they were too early on in the buying cycle. They're not ready to buy the home and they were initially doing some look, or they found someone else. And so trying to understand the difference can be really big. So if you record a video and you say, hey, it's been about 6 months since I heard from you or you interacted with us, I just have a question for you. Are you still looking for a home or have you found an existing home? You could do those kind of re-engagement campaigns. And the people that say no are as valuable as the people that say yes.
Absolutely.
Because the people that say no realize that you care about them. And the people that say yes, you're going to be able to remove them out of your funnel and maybe follow up with them in 5 years when they decide they want a new home. There's a lot of different things you could do there, but one-on-one video is by far the most effective. I know.
Well, to add to that though, like when in our business, someone will send us a name and a number, maybe an email, and it's like you call, no response back from emails. And then you're like, okay, I'll just send them a text. You send them a text and bam, like you get a response back. And so I think sometimes with customers, you need to kind of hit them at all types of different angles because maybe they have a job, they can't talk, on the phone or their email's monitored, but man, they can sure reply to text all day long. And they're awesome.
And why not send a video message and text? You can totally do that too, right? So that's that's a huge opportunity. Like hit them where they are. Of course, being relevant and helpful. So another question Rebecca had was, what are the best tools to create a 90-day video plan to ensure consistency and results? So I'm going to go a little self-promotional here. We have a video marketing guide on our website that has all the things you should think about, the gear you need, how to think about things. But the 90-day plan really just starts with creating a list of things that are relevant and helpful. So a lot of times we'll do questionnaire workshops where we'll say, go back to that as a sales team and Remax, for instance, could do a really great job of getting all the real estate agents together in one room and just creating a master list of questions and then giving that to everyone, because not everyone's going to do every single question, but it could be a really great way to kind of growth hack some questions to run with. Those videos and that subject matter is a great way to start dripping out that content on a daily basis. So if you got a 90-day video plan, in my opinion, you should be putting out 90 videos that are super relevant and helpful across the board. So if you need a tool, we offer that service as well, helping you with a strategy plan, but just start creating that, that content plan and then just stick to it. And as Brian Fonzo would say, push the damn button.
Gotcha.
All right.
Those were the questions I saw on there. Do you got any
one more? Yeah, one more from Rebecca. She has, how much of a realtor's video content should be real estate related, Q&A, market stats, etc., lifestyle related or community tours. I think that it should be incredibly apparent that you are an expert in real estate for every single video you do. But every video you do should be relevant and helpful to the prospect in deciding whether they want to be in an area or be in a home or, be a part of the Southwest Florida community if you're in Southwest Florida. So I think that if you find a mix of those and you start measuring where the results come, you'll be totally good. But in the other episode that Tim and I have done, we talked about the buyer's journey. You're going to have different videos for people that are early on in their selection process with a home or figuring out where they want to live than you would at the bottom, of the funnel. And so if you think about in the beginning, I'm trying to figure out where I want to live, how much homes are worth, what kind of homes I can afford based on a budget. And then at the bottom of the funnel here, you'd be talking about how to choose the right realtor and that kind of thing. You can go all the way across. Market stats, in my opinion, are not going to be something that drives a conversation for someone to buy until they are very close or focusing on an investment related property. So if you're going after family, they're not going to care about market stats as much as they would care about, about their home and the community itself. Hopefully that answers the question.
I think you did.
All right.
And you did great.
That's all the questions.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. But Remington, before we go,
sure.
Do you want to talk more about that, 90-day plan or what you can, I know you got some cool programs for realtors. So let's hear it, buddy.
Yeah, so we got a couple here. So we've got, we do video walkthroughs and, what I was talking about with doing a video tour and then having people like talk over it. We've got a green screen in office here. So we could go on location, record your house and then that you're selling and then have you give people a walkthrough as it's recording. We've got all the equipment here. It's something very smooth and very easy. And we have programs where we do that one-off for people, but then we also do, a certain amount of them on a monthly basis, depending on their volume that they have. The other thing that we do, which is a lot easier to kind of get started with, is setting up these video marketing strategies. So it's usually a one-time fee. You'll come in, you'll talk about your goals, you'll talk about your existing customers, and then what we'll do is we'll talk to you about the types of video topics we think you can do. We'll do a Google search, various Google searches around those topics to figure out the questions that people are asking online, and then we'll give you a 30 to 90-day outline of videos that you should be creating and content you should be creating. And then, of course, we're available to help you do those. But in a lot of cases, it's going to come best from you as an agent. So lots of opportunities there. And we can help you with anything from a website design all the way through to anything we've talked about today. We just want to help you grow.
Gotcha, man. Well, you do a great job. I've gotten to know you a lot over the years. Great dude, great company. So one thing we'll do is we're going to put all the links to the other shows we did. I'll throw them in the comment section so people can see them. Go back and revisit those. A lot of great information there as well. So Remington, just so everyone out there knows as well, I do mortgages for a living. Any realtor that's watching this here in Southwest Florida, or you want to buy a home in Florida, I can help you. We are a direct lender. We can underwrite buyers. Remington, you want to hear something cool? We can underwrite buyers before they're even under contract. So they can have an underwritten approval before they're even out looking for a home, before they're even going under contract. Just one of the things we offer, Remington. Just throwing that out.
That's super handy for agents too. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Well, they know you got to guarantee, a much stronger buyer walking around with them. So Remington, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm at Remington Begg on just about every social network. So you can hook up with me there. If you want to visit our website, you can go to impulsecreative.com. I am as in Mike, PULSECREATIVE.com. And if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know.
Cool. You guys, the same with me. Tim Hart Jr. is where you can find me a lot. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, same thing. And do me a solid if you guys listen to podcasts out there. I got one. It's called the HartBeat Show Podcast, HART Beat Podcast Show. So that's on iTunes, all those places. Remington, you mentioned your podcast earlier. What is it again? Tell everybody.
Yeah, wayfindinggrowth.com.
Yep. And if you're a small business owner in sales, commission, you want to learn more about social media, marketing in general, that podcast is solid, man. You guys, what's the other guy, the other captain?
Yeah.
Can I be Captain Killing it one time, man?
Yeah, we'll get you Captain Killing. Maybe
Okay.
doing this session. But yeah, George is on
George.
that. Yep. George.
Yeah, shout out to George.
Cool.
All right, Remington. Well, let's get this wrapped up, man. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Appreciate it. You reach out to me at Remington anytime we can help you guys. We're always here for you. Remington, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Fun.
Boom.